when you get the
all
perfect setup, you get the perfect setup, you don't mess with it.
That's it.
All right, everybody. We are live. We are live, everybody. We're going to be politically correct here.
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great morning, y'all. This is Dr. Larry White Sr. broadcasting live from the Dr. Larry White Sr. show. And I got to tell you, I'm pumped up today. I got some amazing guests. But listen, I want to start off by just telling everybody, for the people that have purchased my second book, I got it right here, so I just want to show y'all. This book right here, it's absolutely amazing. It's the perfect time. This is an author's copy, but the regular, it's called Operating in Excellence. And here's my first book. I just want to get to it because these two books, I'm actually supposed to be on tour right now, right? And obviously, I was supposed to be in Tampa 2 weeks ago, Atlanta the other day, and all my events have been just postponed due to this pandemic of COVID-19. But it's okay, because I've been selling books, still empowering through virtual webinars like Trasetta and Chandra. All of you all have been doing some great things. So I just wanted everybody to know out there that's listening, we will be doing virtual webinars via Zoom until this pandemic is over. So thank you so much for everybody who's done the pre-sales of the books. And you all can give me a round of applause for this because it's all about you. But just the other day, Amazon 2-time best-selling author. All right.
Yes.
But enough about me and the show. Let's get to these amazing guests. I'm going to start at my top right. And I want to thank her because, and shout out to Katina Fields. She's in LA. She couldn't make it. The pandemic between LA and New York, it's the worst. So she had some logistic issues. So our prayers are with Katina Fields. She's the celebrity PR person that was on the flyer. She couldn't be here, but our prayers are with her. I want to start off with Dr. Glenise Harris Wilson. She was scheduled to be on this show a couple of weeks ago, so I want to thank her for her patience for the rescheduling. So Dr. Glenise, you're down there in Atlanta. Tell us a little bit about who you are professionally for those who may not know you. Take it away, Dr. Glenise.
Thank you so much, Dr. White, and thank you so much for having me on. I am Dr. Glenise with Dr. Glenise Consulting. I am a midlife strategist and consultant, helping adults in midlife transition through challenges and changes, trying to help them to find a happy place so that they can live fulfilled. I serve through counseling. I'm a professional certified life coach and a global educator.
Wow, I tell you, one of my buddies, he talks about education being the new sport. And what he means by that is that, you know, a lot of African-American males, they want to play football, basketball, but, you know, are we really going to high school and college getting that advanced education to be a lawyer, to be a doctor? So shout out to you with all those great things that you talked about, because when I come back to you, you could take this hashtag, education is the new sport. Amen. All right. All right, let's go over to Stacey Henry-Carr. I want to thank you so much. Your PR person is just loading me up. Every week she got people on the show. So shout out to Coretta Doctor. She's just keeping me really busy. Stacey, for those who may not know who you are, tell us a little bit about who you are.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, wonderful ladies and Larry. My name is Stacey Henry-Carr, and I live in South Carolina, right outside of Charleston in the Ladson area. And I am a life coach, author, and speaker. And my specialty is working with people who are going through their healing journey and helping them with a roadmap and helping them to align themselves with their passion and purpose.
Well, you know what? You might just be like Victoria, who we going to hear from in a moment. Me and Victoria, we talk all the time, and starting with, I'm always in Dr. Glenise's box, but she don't reply much. But and Trasetta, she's just absolutely amazing. And Chandra, she's amazing. So you talked about alignment. I think that's important. One of my, all my chapters of the book, check these chapters out. They cold. What is your purpose? Elevating in your season. Connecting with like-hearted people, not minded people, like-hearted people. Getting out of your own way. Learning how to deal with rejection. The best version of you.
Yes.
And the last one is dreaming big. But reason why I brought that up, Stacey, as we get ready to move over to Jennifer, is that everything has to be in alignment, everything. Before you get started in things, you got to be in prayer. If it's not in alignment, it ain't gonna work out really. It ain't gonna work out at all. Trust me, I'm a living witness to that. So I'm just gonna tell you.
Yes.
So true. That's so true.
Jennifer,
So true.
in the DMV, I want to thank you so much for joining the DMV Mastermind Group. I guess it was just about time. We got Jackie Mims, we got Dr. Green, we got Michelle Bolden-Hammond. It was just time. So thank you so much. And thank you so much. We got some orientation on Saturday. Prayerfully you can make it. But for those who may not know you outside of the DMV, Jennifer, tell us a little bit about who you are.
So I want to start off by saying I am the fire thrower, right? Everybody knows me for igniting your fire. And I am a 2-time best-selling author, award-winning life coach and career coach. I'm about elevating women who are in mid-career to senior level positions. And it's all about their professional development, them reaching within to personally develop. I moved from being a clerk typist during the day, janitor at night, to a director earning 6 figures in my 20s. So I like to equip women with the necessary tools and knowledge to elevate to the next level.
Well, look, Jennifer, I like how you came out like that. You came out theatric, like, hey, you bring it. Listen, this young lady, y'all may know her. We got to give her a shout out. Every week, COVID-19 or not, she's always listening. Everybody give Sylvia Kuntz a round of applause, a shout out. Hey, Sylvia.
Hey, Sylvia.
Hey, Sylvia. Hi, Sylvia.
What's up, girl? Telling you, Sylvia, you awesome. You awesome. She get on me a lot, but she's one of our executive team members for the DMV Mastermind. She's been on the show. I came out the gate. I just want y'all to know y'all amazing. And we coming to you, Chandra. Did I pronounce that properly, Chandra?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Look, we didn't have Stacey Lattisaw on the show. We didn't have Johnny Gill, Mark Clark from WHUR. I'm telling you, some heat. And every week I'll be thinking, who else can top that? Let me tell you, no disrespect to the people last week, the week before that, and the week before that. I launched this show on my birthday, and y'all are amazing. So the people that's coming next week, they're gonna have to bring it, because y'all, we ain't even scratched the surface yet, but just these intros. So Jennifer, thank you so much. Dr. Glenise, you took the temperature up. Stacey, you maintained the temperature. You maintained the temperature. Victoria's on you. Maintain that high temperature. What we got, Victoria?
All right, I'm coming all the way from Greensboro, North Carolina. I am Victoria Holland. I am your elevation and motivational coach. I'm elevated, not tolerated, coaching and motivational services. I'm here to help you move to your next level, because you don't deserve to stay held down by anything that has caused you to feel inadequate. And my friends, I'm here to push you to that next level. You can't stay down with me.
All right.
All right. Elevated, not tolerated. I heard that.
Yes.
So this is what she told me the other day. She says elevated, not tolerated. I say celebrated, not tolerated, right? So she said, Larry, I know we're going to be getting along real good because we got some synergy right there. So we've been talking every day since then. So God bless you. And I'm from up north, y'all. So I'm from Gary, Indiana, Chicago area. So I love y'all Southern people, because we say North Carolina. And she said, I'm from North Carolina.
Well, you see, I'm a Virginia girl too. So, you know.
All right. Well, listen, this next amazing person, her name is Trasetta Alexander. If you take a look at her, she's down in Florida. Is that right, Trasetta?
Tallahassee, Florida.
See, she came out with that T, not Tallahassee, but yeah, Tallahassee. Absolutely amazing. I'm gonna tell y'all this really quickly. I say this every week. There's a couple of rules. This is one of them. This book right here, you don't have to go get it, but go get it if you don't have it. And I'm gonna tell you why. Every week, somebody meets somebody on this show that they have never met before. It's all about connecting. That's a connecting book. That book is called The Ultimate Networker and Entrepreneur. And what that means is you get to connect with some people you may not have met. So let me tell you, a few of y'all may know each other, but I guarantee you it's 2, maybe 3 that you may not know. And one of the rules on the show is y'all got to send each other Facebook friend requests and get to know each other.
Wow.
Y'all are
right.
all powerful.
Awesome.
And look, I love this. And I really, as much as I try to stay still, because my son was in my office, he moved back in with me. Shout out to my son. I didn't catch that vacuum cleaner back there, but if you see it every now and again, it's all good.
It's all good. It's all good.
But look, Trasetta, for those, because I've been catching you on your podcasts and your Facebook Lives, you're absolutely amazing. This is what I told her, and I told y'all the same thing. I said, I just went in her inbox like I went into Chandra's inbox. I know she was like, who's this guy in my inbox? I said, would you be on my show? And she goes, well, what's the show about? I said, empowerment, leadership, inspiration, and entrepreneurship. She says, well, I can do all those things. That's me. So Trasetta, take us away, my dear.
Well, first of all, thank you, Dr. Larry, for having me on the show today. I am Trasetta Alexander, faith-based business and productivity coach. And what I do is I help people to clarify, prioritize, and monetize their purpose so that they can create the abundant life that they were created to have. And I too am a recent author. Matter of fact, I got my book here, Positioning Yourself to Prosper. And I had to put my book launch on hold because of COVID-19, but just like a lot of people say, delayed does not mean denied. And so we will emerge stronger from the situation, and we still putting in the work, showing up as leaders, encouraging and empowering others to step out in their purpose.
Hey, man, she said something amazing, and I know it's all of our passion, but having a faith-based business, I think, is very important. I always tell people that your business is your ministry. So
yes,
I'll just leave it at that right there. Well, thank you so much, Chandra, for your patience. This is amazing person that I've been following through Mary Mitchell and some of my folks in Richmond, Virginia. But I want to just have you take it away, Chandra, and tell everybody a little bit about who you are professionally.
Sure. Good morning, everybody. And thank you, Dr. Larry, for the opportunity to come on your amazing show. It's just an honor to be here. I am an author, speaker, and consultant, and I help women step into their greatness because a lot of times we don't realize what we already have on the inside of us. So I'm that voice that likes to ignite what you already have and pull it out of you. And the other thing that I want to add, Dr. Larry, yes, I see it, my sister, is that I'm a soon-to-be filmmaker in pre-production for my first short documentary. Thank you.
Yay, awesome.
Congratulations. Well, look, Chandra, thank you so much for sharing. I love all of you all already. Again, I've been watching you all, virtually, and we're going to get through this. And one of you all said we'll be stronger after this. And before we go into the questions, everybody's family, everybody's safe, everybody safe?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All is well. All is well.
Amen.
All
Amen.
is well.
Well, look, let's start off with Stacey here. We have some predetermined questions from her PR person and her, and the rest of you all, I have some standard questions I ask you all, so we're going to wing it, but it'll be just great. Okay. Stacey, what inspired and motivated you to write your book write your book, Live Your Truth and Break the Cycle?
All right, thanks for asking. So this is my book, Live Your Truth and Break the Cycle. And it was self-published via Amazon. You can find it on Amazon last September. And this book, first, in order to answer your question, I have to give you a quick synopsis. This book is about a journey overcoming child sexual abuse. And the question about, that topic is a loaded topic in itself, but the question about what motivated me and what inspired me. So I'll start with the inspiration. The inspiration to write this book was my baby girl. I have a 10-year-old daughter, and she was my main inspiration. And the reason for that, it's because you don't ever want to, in life, take your corrosive legacy that was handed to you and hand it to your children. So when I wrote this book, it's dedicated to her because it was a way for me to say, I'm going to up-level your legacy, my baby. I'm not leaving you with the corrosive legacy I had. So she was my main inspiration. And the motivation ties to it. My motivation for writing this book was simply this: I will not let my legacy be the woman who was broken or a survivor of. My legacy, I want to constantly be for my children, the woman who helped others to live after going through something like I went through and so many others have gone through and still is.
You know what, Stacey, I want to commend you. Number one, being transparent here on the show. Each week, we have someone that's went through a traumatic situation, and I think by telling your story heals people, and it also heals yourself to be able to talk about it. So I just want to thank you for sharing. We're going to come back to you shortly. We've got some more questions for you. This standard question, we're going to start off with Dr. Glenise here, and then we're going to go all the way around for everybody. My dad was a steel mill worker, and he taught me, hey, you know, you go off to the military and you come back and work in the steel mill. And I did go to the military. I had a great time. I traveled the world 3 times over, but coming back to that steel mill wasn't me. I believe leaders are born, not taught. I've been an entrepreneur now for 8 years. And this question means a lot to me because my dad thought I would follow in his footsteps. But I wasn't that guy to be walking around with a hard hat. And I respect my dad, God rest his soul. 3 years ago, he worked 42 years, you know, barely took off any days, but that just wasn't me. Dr. Glenise, tell us what inspired you to start your own business and become an entrepreneur? Because when I first started my business, I was fearful that people would laugh, it wouldn't get off the ground. We all know that fear is false evidence appearing real. But when I got my first client, my first check, I really wanted to just laminate it and put the check on the wall, but I really needed the money because I was broke. But talk to us a little bit, Dr. Glenise, what inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
Let me say this. First of all, you know, we hear a lot of times, and I talk to people all the time. I just had a client the other day that talked about how her mom would not allow her to become a hairstylist, a cosmetology. Her mom told her that she was going to go to school, she would be a secretary, and that was it. And she did that. Now, around 52, she's totally miserable, right? I think I was probably one in many that was different in that I never will forget. And my father passed away in 1991. When I came out of high school in 1974, he told me, whatever you do, learn to do something where you can work for yourself, right? And I really didn't hear that. I didn't hear that until around 2013. And I was I only heard college, and was confused when I entered college. But here's the thing that made me go into entrepreneurship. I worked for corporate America for 29 and a half years. It was a blessing. It helped me to raise my children and all of those good things, but I never found my happy place in corporate America. I was in a department that was not me. It was technical based, but it was not serving people. It was not serving people. And so I wanted to do more for people. I had a burning desire for people to see themselves in different spaces and places. So here's the thing. And I'm writing a book about this, when I crossed over into midlife around 38, 39, when I hit that midlife door, I entered into a culture shock. And what I entered in was divorce and other things, single parenting, blended, my mother, my father, all these things. A lot of things happened in my own midlife years. I can speak to a ton of things, blended families, remarriage, aging ill parents passing away, my children lost their dad, all of my higher level education happened in my midlife years. And that's why I tell people all the time, you're not too old. So what inspired me was my own process of reinventing myself during midlife. And I want other people, what I teach people, areas I consult people in, areas of training, all that I do, I assure you, I have experienced those things myself. Your path is my path, but I promise you, you want to find your happy place. I guarantee that. And you want to live a life of fulfillment. So all of those things, my experience, my educational, academic learning, pulled together, those things inspired me to want to help others. And believe it or not, this includes men. Men go through midlife issues just like
Well, Dr. Glenise, first of all, that was a whole lot, and I appreciate you because that's what this book is all about. If you can read it, see this is called Pain, Purpose, and Position. The fact of the matter is this, it took me to about a year ago to figure this out. You're going to go through some pain, and God will see to it that you go through some pain in life. Everything ain't going to be hunky-dory. That pain will lead you to your purpose, and your purpose will lead you into the position of what God has for you to do. A lot of people go through life not using their God-given talent. Me, I have a lot of them. When I woke up 30, 40 years ago, I was like, Lord, you have blessed me with all these talents. And he used to be like, son, use them or I will take them away from you. So I try to make sure I use my God-given talents because that's when we're at our best. So thank you so much, Dr. Glenise, for sharing. We're going to go down here to Tallahassee, Florida and talk to Trasetta, because I'm telling you this, I've been in business for 2012, but I got to tell you, every time I see somebody's logo, somebody's website, I'm inspired because one of my mentors told me this, Larry, if you don't get one client, at least give yourself a pat on the back for trying, right? And I started this show to highlight other people. It may talk about the Dr. Larry White Senior Show. Well, I wanted to be a blessing to others, so that's why I interview people all week. And shame on those radio folks and TV folks that just have a show and they doing all the talking all the time. I'm just saying, got to use your platform to bless other people. But Trasetta, talk to us a little bit about how did you get started in your entrepreneurial journey and what inspired you?
Well, I have a very similar story to Glenise. I, in my late 30s, started feeling like there has to be more to life. I was in a very difficult situation on my job. I was in my quote unquote promised land. God really had moved and placed me in the company that I was working for at the time. But things started getting very difficult. I started dealing with a lot of persecution and I didn't know what to do. So I was applying for jobs, but no doors were opening for me. And after a while, it got to the point where I literally was coming home crying most days. It was a rare thing for me not to have a day of work where I was crying because I was just so miserable and so unhappy with where I was. And finally, with the okay by my husband, I decided to leave and go back to school. So I was a non-traditional student. I had my associate's degree, but I had not finished my bachelor's degree. And so my husband gave me the nod. I decided to go back to school and figure out what it is that I was born to do. And like you, I believe that every single person on the face of this planet, whatever their purpose is, that is their ministry. So if you are called to business, if you are called to politics, if you're called to lead a nonprofit organization, whatever you are called to do, that is your ministry. And through this process of kind of finding my way, going back to school, right after I graduated, literally 2 weeks later, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And that was my wake-up call. I realized that I had been kind of sleepwalking my way through life, and a spirit of boldness came on me because my prognosis was really good. So I knew that it wasn't going to be something that took my life, but it made me reevaluate how I had been living. And so I got to the place where I'm like, you know what? Forget fear, let's just move forward. So it got me to stop worrying about what other people thought. It got me to stop worrying about other people's expectations of me besides the expectation that the Lord has on me. And so as I started just kind of finding my way, it's been a process, right? At the time I had a furniture refinishing business that really was a hobby that I turned into making money because my husband was having a fit for me having all this stuff in our house. He's like, it looks like a flea market. And so through that process, I ended up becoming a faith-based business coach because I became what I needed in my previous business. When I was seeking out advice and direction and guidance and coaching, I didn't find anyone who was aligned with my own personal skills. And so, or my personal desires, my personal beliefs, because I didn't want to do what the world was doing. I wanted to do things godly way. And so I ended up shifting into becoming who I needed because I figured I'm not the only one who's having the same struggle. And so I became what I needed in my time.
Trasetta, I want to thank you again for being transparent and sharing your journey. This, I got to tell you, the word empowerment every day, every week on this show, I was like, what can I do next? Because all of you are great. Someone had a question down at the bottom. How long is the show? Typically, we roll to about 10:30. We're going to go beyond that today because of the number of people. We want to make sure we can get in all the questions that we have. So we'll go as long as it takes. We'll definitely be done before 11 a.m. Eastern. If you do have to drop off, I do understand. But was that you, Stacey?
No.
Oh, Jennifer. Okay, so we're going to go over to Jennifer then, because you were the next. You and Chandra, and then Victoria. So Jennifer, let's go over to you with the same question. What inspired you to? Let me just give you a double dose. So since you may have to leave us, so let's give you a double dose, and I do this from time to time. Double question: what inspired you to be an entrepreneur? How'd you get started? What are some challenges that you've had along the way, and how did you overcome them to continuously be a successful business owner that you are today?
Okay, thank you very much. So what inspired me? I have to tell you, my life journey inspired me. And it started off with bullets being thrown against my door, right? My locked door while asleep. And it was by a person you would never think would throw the bullets. And it was my mom. And my mom suffered from severe manic depression and bipolar. My life changed at the age of 17. I had to leave home and I took care of her from afar. So I always believed in working hard and knowing that no one's going to hand me anything on a silver platter. And so saying that, I saw her struggles with the bipolar, but I also saw her struggles of being only having a 5th grade education because she was in South Carolina taking care of, the crops and all that other stuff. So, but one thing that I learned from her was the emotional strength that she carried. And she was still an inspiration to me, even in her pain. And I understood that her pain came from her losing her husband at 28 from a terrible construction accident and having to live to see that and witness the love of her life die. So saying that, fast forward, I suffered from several tragedies and as well as losing all of my family members suddenly. And so lost my brother probably about 6 years ago at 49. And that was the impetus for me to move forward. I am a 2-time domestic violence survivor as well as sexual assault survivor. And so ended a 18-year marriage. I'm remarried now. It's been, about 3 months now. So I have 2 wonderful daughters and I wanted to build a legacy for them. And that was important to me. I have a senior in high school and a sophomore in high school. And so those things inspired me to say, if I can make it, someone else can too. And so the tools that I put in place and the tips that I use to get along my empowerment journey, because my company is called Reaching Within, because sometimes when you don't know where you what your next move in, you got to do everything to reach within yourself to propel you to move forward. So my book, Overcoming Personal Challenges to Achieve Professional Success, is all about how I rose in my ranks from clerk typist during the day, janitor at night, to a director. So I'm a dualpreneur, Larry. I actually am recently retired from the federal government after 31 years as an executive. So I'm certified senior executive for life. So if I ever want to go back in, I can go in as a senior executive without competition. But now I work for a major bank as a director of associate engagement, because I love helping people. Now, in terms of my business, the challenge that I faced was similar to what Dr. Larry was saying. Reaching Within an Empowerment Journey I started over 2.5 years ago. I thought that no one would want to invest in me. I didn't recognize and realize the power that I had, that I am an expert. It took me over 30-something years to get here. Live in your expertise in your lane of brilliance, and move that fear out of the way and say, Jen, if you only help one person today, that's one person who is better and who can stand in their own and own their own passion and their power. And the other challenge I had to get over, people not supporting me, friends and family not supporting me. I had to get out of my own head and out of my own way. Support can look differently from different people, and we got to not care about that, right? Do the best that you can do and just keep it pushing, because it's not about us. It's about us changing generations, and it's about us legacy building others to be strong.
I gotta tell you, every now and again, I think once I overslept, and Sylvia Kuntz said, Larry, you're supposed to be live on the air right now. It's like, I overslept. And I'm just always empowered. Trasetta, and we get ready to have our two sisters come up, but that was powerful. First of all, I want to say congratulations on your new marriage and your union.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I'm interested. I'm so blessed. I tell people this all the time, and I want y'all to just say this with me. Say, operating in excellence.
Operating in excellence.
The reason why I came up with that title is because I've been told no so many times. I've been stabbed in the back. Listen, I had to bury my mom 2 years ago, and the roughest part was dealing with my brother and sister. Amen. I mean, I'm the youngest of 3, and I couldn't do anything. Okay. But no matter what I did, I said, I'm going to operate in excellence. So Trasetta, you really inspired me. Stacey, all of you all. And the reason why I say I got the best job in the world, I get to connect with y'all and hear these stories. And I tell people all the time, first of all, shout out to Dr. Author S.C. McCoy, who's chimed in from North Carolina, S.C. McCoy, and my sister, Kizzy, down there in Richmond with you, Chandra, Renee Bryant, and Michelle Bolden-Hammonds, just some great folks. Listen, I got the best job in the world because I get to each week hear these powerful stories. And there's no excuses. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Let me just say this to y'all. I done lost my mother and my father. Nobody cares who died. They don't care if your bills are behind. They don't care. And so, like, just to give y'all this, and we're gonna go over to Chandra and Victoria. I got a call, and y'all know, some of y'all know this already. Got a call last week. If this don't empower y'all even more, got a call last week from my sister Jackie Nam. She says, Larry, my mother is 88. She's in the hospital and she's on a ventilator. She's in New York where the epidemic is the worst. She said, also the caregiver is my sister who's 64, who's contracted the coronavirus. I said, oh, geez. Mom passed away 2 days ago, okay? And my fear, this was fear for me, for her, that this is a situation where she possibly could lose her mother and her sister in 1 week and could not go see them. Everybody quarantined. And I called her up. I said, how you feeling, sis? She said, I'm making it. We crying at midnight. We crying at 6. We praying. And Sylvia said, Larry, first of all, we're not going to speak in existence about the sister passing away. I said, amen, that's right, that's right. Yesterday, Jackie called me and said that the sister has survived coronavirus, amen, at the age of 64. And and that's a heck of a praise report we got there. But you know what even blows all that away? She wrote, we got a third book coming out with the DMV Mastermind Group, and it's called Iron Sharpen Irons, Inspired to Achieve, Think, and Grow. Dr. Green is amazing. She put all that together. I'm behind the scenes doing some stuff. But the point is, you know, this woman took the time out. She didn't know what to do. She said, I got to write. So she wrote about her mother, got her chapter in on time so we could publish the book next week. Now, you want to talk about empowerment. She could have easily folded up, threw the towel in, and just felt sorry for herself. But I even said, hey, maybe this could be something to keep your mind off of what's going on. And also you could leave a legacy to your children. I got her chapter the other day, sent it to Dr. Green. Dr. Green goes, she wrote this in the midst of her mother passing away and her sister in the hospital. So I commend all of you all, because those are the type of calls I deal with every day. So like when somebody called me and they got a lame excuse, they'll be like, Dr. White, you a little rough on me. I'm like, look, I'm a little rough on you because that is not acceptable, okay? Especially what Trasetta went through, all of you all. And listen, we gonna replay this. This is, let me tell you something. And I was talking to Victoria. We're gonna hear from her in a minute. I do have the professional package, so they will not cut us off. But listen, last week I had Dr. Cheryl Wood and her twin power sister Cherie Good on the call. I tried to wrap the show up at 10:30, but they took over the show. We went to 11 o'clock, so we got a couple more things we do. But yes, all right. So Chandra, getting into the filmmaking business, you're an author, you're doing all these great things. And I got to tell y'all, some of y'all was talking about when y'all graduated high school, don't nobody look a day over 40 on this damn show, all right? and we know, Chandra, you, see, Chandra, I just got my AARP card. I don't mind to tell people, I'm 51 years old. I got my AARP. I get discounts on coffee, all this good stuff. So, you know, I got to tell you, Chandra, you know you don't look a day over 18. So I'm just telling you, God has blessed you with some great genes, sis. Tell us how you, because a lot of us are very similar, but you talk about filmmaking and all this stuff. How did you get inspired to do all of that stuff?
I actually grew up in Brooklyn, New York, East New York. I'm a 70s baby.
Okay.
So I am over 40, but thank you.
Okay. Right.
And I had a teacher at PS 273 named Mrs. Giovanni. And Mrs. Giovanni was one of those teachers who really taught beyond the lesson. And so what Mrs. Giovanni would do every day, because we were kids living in this environment that was not the best environment, you know, walking past drug addicts and the drug dealers every day just to get to school. So it was a challenge. But what I loved about Mrs. Giovanni is that she would tell us to dream. So every day for an hour, we had recess. And Mrs. Giovanni would play classical music. Now, I'm a Black woman. My mother didn't play classical music in the household. It was R&B and gospel. And so Mrs. Giovanni exposed me to something different that I would have never had the opportunity to be exposed to. And so during that hour of time, I would lay my head down on the table and I would doodle. And I would write all of the things that I wanted to do. At one point, I wanted to be a music video director. I wanted to be Salt and Pepper. That's embarrassing, but I thought I could rap at one point. But most importantly, I've always wanted to be a filmmaker. That has just been my passion. I've always wanted to write films. And so I would, as I got older, I would begin to write screenplays. Never completed any of them. But I would just write because it was a release for me. It was a way to move beyond what I could see, what I could physically see with my own eyes. So filmmaking, I'd like to say, started when I was in middle school at PS 273 in East New York.
You know what, I got to tell you, I have a son that's in New York, and I was thinking, I went to his school one day and it was Peace something. This was about 15 years ago. I'm like, they got this many schools up in New York. I was trying to figure out what the P stand for, but it's like public, right? And so I would bring him back up to Maryland, and he goes, Dad, we got, names of doctors, lawyers, and stuff like that. You here in the suburbs of Maryland, but yeah, New York is a different. I got to tell you this. We know that the pandemic is hitting New York really hard. And let's just say this, not just in New York, but everywhere, people definitely stay at home. I put on my Facebook page, you're not stuck at home, you're safe at home, amen? And I'm not a type of person like to say I like to really be politically correct on social media. Like, I don't like to argue. I don't air out my dirty laundry on Facebook. You ever have a client do you real bad, then they want to go to Facebook and badger your business? I'm saying that's just not the right way to do it. And you talked about being born in the 70s, Chandra, and we're round out this first round with Victoria. Listen, shout out to Lisa Jones. She say the show is fire. That's what Lisa Jones said. She said inspirational. Lisa Jones. I just want to say this. When I went to New York, I'm from Gary, Indiana, right? I mean, small little town. It was thriving. I learned a lot, and I was the man. I was like captain of the basketball team, prom king. I had some juice back in the day, I'm gonna tell you. And so I was graduated most likely to succeed, went to the Navy, #1 naval officer. Everything just came real easy to me in life, right? So when the rejections came, I was like, ooh, that's a little different. But let me tell you, I said, I gotta go to New York, and I gotta be the best somewhere up there. So I was, I just want to tell you, I went up there, those New Yorkers looked at me like, who you? I'm like, y'all don't know who I am. It was just so many people there. But I just want to say, when I went there, I just was an average person. I did some great things, don't get me wrong, and a couple people, but it's just so much there, and you learn so much as they talk about New York being a melting pot, so many different nationalities, but fast pace. I came right on back down to Virginia, and just like, okay, New York a little too fast for me. But I want to, because when you're around New Yorkers, you could tell when you're around some New Yorkers. And now, Chandra, that you've been speaking, I can hear that New York coming out of you. I hear it.
I'm surprised you could hear anything with this hoarse voice. That's why I keep drinking my tea.
Absolutely. Well, listen, Victoria, I want to thank you so much for being patient. You are absolutely amazing. Let me tell you, every week, Satan try to get a victory and mess up somebody's audio video. He never wins. Listen,
nope.
So Victoria's like, I'm like, Victoria, get your stuff. Victoria, talk to us about how you got inspired to be an entrepreneur, and also some challenges you've faced along the way, and how did you overcome them?
Larry, let me just first say thank you so much again for the opportunity to be with these phenomenal people, and you, my friend, my mentor, my friend. I appreciate you so much. All of you have inspired me so much today. I'm trying to hold back the tears. Y'all just don't know.
And you can let me say this to you, Victoria. Okay. Let the tears go, let them flow. I got a little hashtag, I say grow, glow, and show. Let them come on out. And we cry on this show, we laugh on this show, and they're tears of joy, amen. Let them roll, sis.
That's it. You all have inspired me today. And so how I got into Elevated Not Tolerated is kind of interesting. Elevated Not Tolerated is my healing place. I tell it all the time that I had no intentions of being a coach or a motivational speaker, but life and God had a different plan. Being a small town little girl coming from Virginia, being a PK, and everybody thought you had it going on when you really didn't, and you was behind the scenes, and then you come and the bottom of your pit completely falls out. I experienced homelessness. I experienced domestic violence. I experienced, as one of my other sisters on the show said, I can tell you, I could write. I got the book. I got the cap and gown. I got it all. But as I was going through my homeless period, I never looked like I was homeless. Many people never even knew I was homeless because I refused to stop being who I was. My father always told me, you can be anything that you want to be as long as you put God first and you don't quit. Amen. So through that process is how Elevated Not Tolerated came into existence. I started talking and writing about my journey and why I was not going to let this hold me down. My mother and my sister both passed within a year of time. And doing all of that, I was struggling with who I was. At 57 years of age, y'all, I'm at this point in my life where I have got to tell somebody else, you don't get to quit. You don't get to stop. With the skills and the techniques that all of us at this round table right now have, there is no excuse for anybody to stop doing what they want to do. You can believe in everything that you have in your mind and your spirit to do, because even through the punching in the eyes, the cuts on the throat, the sitting in the street in your car waiting to figure out where you're going to go next, it's not going to stop you if you have a passion for what's in your heart. And I truly believe the Elevated Not Tolerated came out of that passion for helping other people. The struggles that I've gone through, you all have talked about it today. My sister, when you said the support, can I just say it? I want to stand up and say, amen, hallelujah. Let me give a praise dance in, because that is so true. But it doesn't matter how much we get or don't get the support. It's our passion for what God has given us. I struggle with that sometimes myself. Where are the family at? How come they're not watching the show? How come they're not participating? And then God said to me, you know what? It doesn't matter, because your name says it all. You're elevated and you're not tolerated. You are victorious over the things that you have accomplished. When I tell you that the struggles that I have now will not be the struggles that I will continue to deal with later. Even as I listen to each one of you today, y'all have inspired me today to say, okay, you know what? I got one book. I'm going to get another one in here so I can be with you guys 2 times, 3 times. But it doesn't even matter, because the struggles are making that passion. Yes, Larry, I can't wait for my copy of the book, because it is the truth. Everything that we have gone through has pushed us to another level. When I think about all of my sisters and my brothers, and my program is not just for the females, it's for all people. I don't care who you are, where you are. It's for all people, to let you know that you can push through everything that you're going through right now. Yeah, Corona got her thing going on, but Corona can't stop nothing if we all stick together and we keep pushing together as a team. Because entrepreneurs, we're the backbone of the country. They just don't realize it. We're the people that make it happen. We're the people that sit down and we think through this process through our own emotional setbacks, the struggles that we're going through, but we don't quit, because we have to keep moving. Our past has pushed us to this level, my friends. So yeah, every struggle, it's caused me to be elevated, not tolerated. And it's caused me to be a standout voice for my sisters and my brothers. And that's what Elevated Not Tolerated is. It's a healing place through coaching and motivation.
Victoria, thank you so much. Y'all have touched me. We got one more round of questions before we round out the show and we get your contact information. This is very powerful. Listen, Dr. Cheryl Wood, Sheree Good, all the folks, each week, if someone says, Larry, what's your best show? And I'm like, all of them, they are all, it's just different. And y'all, this is really nice. And I thank y'all for your patience as we ran over today. I'm one of the fortunate people, my wife and I, we are still getting paid during this COVID-19. We don't know how much longer. A lot of my friends are being furloughed and things of that nature. And one of my contracts may be up in July. And I told folks, I said, it doesn't matter. The Lord will provide whatever we need. And I just thank y'all for sharing. Y'all are just amazing. We got a couple of people we need to shout out. James, first of all, thank all y'all for sharing broadcast. James, Dr. Glenise, one of your people, James says hello. Bernice and Audrey, everybody. I didn't catch all their last names. I want to just piggyback off what you said, Victoria. I've always said this. I believe small business owners are the heartbeat of the community. So I'm always outnumbered on the show. Men, I need y'all to submit your stuff. All the ladies are just amazing. Always, you ask the guys, hey, I need you on the show. Hey, they got no excuse while they playing golf or things like that. They're at home, so they should be on the show. But I love the ladies always. The fact is this, if we have to do something, we should just be intentional about connecting with like-minded people, like-hearted people. So just thank y'all so much. All right, let's go up here to Stacey. With it being National Child Abuse Prevention Month, what message do you want to give the listening audience to take away? And also, the people, okay, I'm sorry. I'm trying to read this the way it came in.
That's
But
okay.
being that it's National Child Abuse Prevention Month, what
Yes.
message would you like our listening audience to take away, Stacey?
Okay. So, my charge and my passion, thank you for that question. My charge and my passion is to build awareness and to help people out there who are silently suffering from this thing called child abuse or child sexual abuse. Child abuse, and the whole big part of it is child abuse of any form, but child sexual abuse is a part of that. With the pandemic happening, Dr. Larry, you're not hearing a lot of that because a lot of the things that were programmed to happen have changed. People can't have their awareness functions anymore. So what I really want people to understand, like I said, when I wrote Live Your Truth and Break the Cycle, it was to bring in awareness. It was to let people know that they're not alone. It was to save at least one child, and to let folks know that being silent, what that does, it allows the epidemic, and it's an epidemic of child abuse, to continue. So although you're not hearing it a lot, what I want people to get from me today is that because of this pandemic, there are children in households now that can no longer escape and go to school. They don't have their normal routine escape, whether it be school, whether it be going to the community center. They can't go down to the neighbor's house because nobody wants anybody in their household at this time. So this is a time that we have to even be more vigilant about the awareness of the abuse that may be going on with children. And I really wanted to bring that forth because everything else is overshadowing this month of awareness and prevention, but it's happening, and we need to, one hand feed the other. So if one of us, if just one of you share, that awareness will spread, because you heal the world one person at a time, right? So I really just want people to walk away from here. Yes, pick up my book if you can. It's on Kindle. Live Your Truth, Break the Cycle on Amazon. And the book will help you with some tactics for, thank you, for awareness. But what I want you to do, I'm using this platform today to tell you there are children out there who are struggling and suffering, and they don't have an outlet right now. Secondly, and lastly, important, there are adults like me and you, 70s baby here. So no, I'm not 21, but we are still working through the journey of the healing, and we need people like us to build that awareness. So I want people to look out for a child, look out for an adult they're not speaking, but they need our help around this very important topic.
Stacey, absolutely. And let's just stick with you here as we round out the show here. What is your contact information, website, phone number, email that you would like to leave everybody?
So you can find me on all social media at StaceyHenry-Carr.com. So I'll keep it simple, at StaceyHenry-Carr.com. And that's Facebook, that's Instagram. I am also on LinkedIn, and my StaceyHenry-Carr.com is my website. And I want to just say one thing. I spoke earlier about up-leveling your legacy. We're going to have an event here in Charleston in October. So look out for my Up-Level Your Legacy event. That's going to happen on October 23rd. And it will be on my social media in weeks to come. So thank you so much, Dr. Larry, for having me. Just remember, I am that coach that will help you with that breakthrough that you need.
Well, look, Stacey, thank you so much for sharing. Hold on with us. One round of questions and contact information for everybody. But listen, I want everybody to connect. We can't, at least for now, go physically out and do our events. So let's do some webinars together in your expertise. You can talk to me offline. I shot you a note, Trasetta. I have something I'm going to do with Victoria. We're going to be doing some webinars. And let's talk offline, all of us. I'd like to do some webinars with you all. And there are ways to charge people through Zoom. It's more on the webinar side as opposed to this being a meeting. So that can be done. But I feel that's a charge that the Lord has put on my spirit to do these webinars while people are social distancing and they can't really get out. So let's round it out here. Let's go over to Dr. Glenise. This question is for everybody to round us out. Dr. Glenise, then we go to Jennifer, Trasetta, and then Chandra and Victoria. Same question. What advice would you give someone that's struggling right now through the COVID-19? What advice would you give them to keep pushing through, and then end us with your contact information?
Here's the thing. Understand, in this pandemic, in this time of COVID-19, keep in mind who you are. Who are you in the midst of going through this? The second thing is, who do you want to come out being after all of this, right? And so with that being said, when I get up in the morning, I get dressed. Everything that I did before COVID-19, I try to make that my space at home. I get up in the morning, I say my prayers, I get dressed, I find time for meditation, I find time for devotion. We have to appreciate technology because technology is keeping us connected. So those same people that you connected with, whether it's by phone, whether it's by Zoom or other platforms, use technology to stay connected. Don't lose yourself in the midst of this. Don't lose your relationships in the midst of this. Don't lose your goals, your visions, your expectations in the midst of you going through. We have to get the negativity out of our own heads, get out of our own way, stay uplifted, stay positive, and the same things that you were doing before COVID that kept you uplifted, keep that momentum going, just on a different platform.
Right, that's right. And what's some contact information for you, Dr. Glenise? I
can be contacted on all social media platforms, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. Instagram, you can contact me by DrGlenise, Dr. Glenise on Instagram. Facebook, Dr. Glenise Consultant is my business page. And then, of course, on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. I've been talking to Victoria about this, and I want to give this to everybody that's on the show. Let's become everybody's SAP, spiritual awareness partner, or it can be said spiritual accountability partner. And what that simply means is let's call and check on each other. Let's go in that inbox, see, because sometimes when you see people posted on Facebook, they're not really okay. They're just kind of faking it to make it. So let's be intentional about connecting with each other. And I'm serious about you all. Let's connect and do some webinars, and we'll figure out the monetization at some point like that. Let's go over to Jennifer to round out the show here. We'll have Jennifer, then we'll have Trasetta, and then Chandra and Victoria will take us home. How can people push through? You know, there's these acronyms: push, pray until something happens, right? Talk to us and tell us what encouraging words can you say to our listening audience, Jennifer, if they before COVID-19, let's face it, people were struggling before COVID-19. Then you get 19, and this pandemic is going to have a huge impact for many, many years, many, many years. When we come out of this, it's going to be a mess. And I'm glad that we can sit here virtually and talk about it, because obviously I've been watching all of you all. We've had some things in place, because I'm going to tell you right now, I talk to people every day. They're like, how do you go live? How do you do Zoom? How do you do this? So to see all y'all having this already in place, you know, shout out to all the educators and the teachers and principals. They're struggling to do instructions and things of that nature. So I've been having to help my wife out with some tech stuff, say, hey, this is what you got to do for curriculum and things of that nature, because she's not like a tech savvy person. So this is good that we've been able to have this in place already, at least some of us. So Jennifer, for those that are struggling right now, they were trying to write a book, trying to start a business, what advice could you give them to push through and encourage them, and your contact information?
So I will say a couple of things in response to your question. first and foremost is making sure self is okay, right? So making sure that they check in with themselves, and if they have to unplug for a moment to get themselves together, as you said, Glenise, to have meditation, prayer, or whatever it takes, but start their day with their normal routine. And I have to say, like, I'm known for my jewelry, like wearing jewelry. Today was the first day that I actually put on jewelry. So whatever your daily routine is, get into that routine. If you have to open up the front door, open up the blinds to get some vitamin D in, do that. I actually have like a little cycling little machine underneath my desk. So sometimes during my meetings, I'm pedaling just to try to, boost up my endorphins. But keep in mind that although we have physical distance, we can remain socially connected. And I've been talking about that for a while. Just like we're on the Zoom and connecting, and Dr. Larry, you talked about after the show, we all stay socially connected by becoming Facebook friends, but we can take it a little bit further, because I'm about networking as well, right? Using this opportunity to optimize your relationships, and hopping in inboxes and saying, hey, can we chat for 15 minutes? I want to learn a little bit more about your business. So those who are struggling with writing their book, write in your journal every single day something, how you're feeling. You're going to look back on this and say, oh my God, I made it past that. Or if you're struggling to write, record yourself on your phone, voice recorder, do that. Right. What's happening right now is for you to find a new normal and be okay with that new normal as you walk through it. Now, how people can reach me. I can be reached on social media, Jennifer Jones-Bryant. Also on Instagram, I am Reaching Within. Also on Facebook, I have a group, Reaching Within, an empowerment journey. And I can be reached on LinkedIn, Jennifer Jones-Bryant. So that's my advice. And just please don't give up. I had a client the other day who wrote me, and it was a suicide note. People are struggling. And I had to call the police and to just make sure that he was okay. And he got picked up for evaluation. And he wrote me last night. He said, thank you for caring enough to call the police. But we just never know what type of impact this COVID-19 is having on people's mental state. And find something to laugh about. Yes. Find some humor somewhere.
Absolutely. Dr. Glenise, she has a client at 11, so she had to drop off, and she's amazing. But what I want to just say as we round it out with Trasetta, Chandra, and Victoria, that's the key, is to find some normalcy during this time. And I agree with y'all. My wife asked me every day, she said, where are you going? I put on my blazer. I cut my hair. I shaved like I'm going to the office. She said, where are you going? Just gotta nowhere, just backyard, home, and so
rotate from room to room.
right. And look, I want to give y'all a little humor here as we round it out with our sisters. That first week, I don't think none of us, the world didn't see this getting this bad. You know what I mean? And so the first week, my wife goes, "Oh, you just really enjoying this, ain't you?" I said, "Absolutely," because we really don't get a chance to spend a lot of time with each other. Me being on tour, I got about 5 jobs, I'll be honest with you, so I'm always on the go. And that first week was rough. I said, honey, you might as well go and get used to it. We're going to be in this house for a long time, right? And so she was like, it was really, because she's one of these people, she just has to get out a lot. And so she's not really comfortable getting confined, so it's kind of driving her crazy. I said, look, we got a lot of food. There's no reason for you getting that car and ride around, you know what I mean? So as the restrictions were happening from state to state, I've actually enjoyed I hadn't played a board game with my children, watched any movies with them. It's given us an opportunity to be a lot closer. And when we come out of it, I know that there's going to be some appreciation in my family, like, wow, we were close. And for those folks that's been shot, like Chandra, since you said you was born in the 70s, right? I was born in the 60s, and we're the last generation that kind of came out of the civil rights movement. And I'll give you this little story. My mother didn't have health care growing up, and her mother died at the age of 40. And I remember I was 5 years old, and she gave me a Blue Cross Blue Shield medical card. And she took me right back to the same doctor that she didn't have, that told her you cannot be seen because you don't have health care. And so I just know that meant a lot to her, that she told this guy, I'll be back one day and you will see us and we will have health care. So just another empowerment thing there. So go ahead, Trasetta, take us away with some great advice you could give folks that just really need to push through some tough times, and round it up with your contact information.
Absolutely. I have 3 tips for you all. Number 1, give yourself grace. This is not business as usual. Things are challenging. You're not going to be able to accomplish everything you would normally do, because even though you may be quote unquote okay, you're not really, you're not freaking out. There is still an emotional impact that will affect your productivity. So in this season, in this time, give yourself grace. Secondly, lean into your faith. Now is the time for you to lean into God, lean into your faith, lean into the one who is your protector, your all in all, your health, your strength. Lean into your faith. And lastly, use this as an opportunity to pivot in your life, pivot in your business. I did a Facebook Live a week or so ago on the word pivot. If I can say it off the top of my head, it's number 1, pray. Number 2, innovate. Number 3 is stay visible. Look for optimize, organize and optimize, and T. I can't remember what the T was. I made it all the way. I can't remember what the T was. But at any rate, use this as an opportunity to pivot. We're all rethink. There are so many different innovations and things that have come out of periods of isolation for people. So use this as a time to go inwardly and find how you can emerge from this with a new vision, a new purpose, and a new vigor for life, the life ahead. And the best place to find me is actually inside my private Facebook group, which is Kingdom Purpose Pursuers on Facebook. I am on all social media as Trasetta Alexander, except for Twitter, because my name's too long. So I'm Trasetta A on Twitter, or you can find me on my website, which is TrasettaAlexander.com. Keep it simple.
Thank you so much, Trasetta. Really appreciate it. Hey, listen, Thank
you for the opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. We'll, like Jennifer said, let's be intentional. Let's follow up. I know you and we've been talking, Chandra, to do some more lives, and we'll get those done. I just want to make you laugh a little bit, Trasetta. Last week, I was in the middle of talking to my guest. I forgot the whole piece. I was like, I called it a senior moment, right? And then as Dr. Cheryl Wood was talking, I'm like, hey, it came back, but it was, so I just want to tell you, I feel you on that one, because I was like, man, it was just there. All right. So that happened to be last week. So thank you so much there. All right, Chandra, let's go over to you. The same question to round us out, give some advice to those that may be struggling financially, mentally, spiritually. They're like, I know quite a few people about ready to lose it right now. And I was talking to Victoria yesterday. I said, it's okay to do Facebook Live, but just don't get up there and be babbling all the time. Have some informative stuff, time them, but talk to us about pushing through during a tough time, and round out with your contact information.
Sure. I'm the kind of woman that I push through in tough times. So you asked me the right question. So the advice that I would give to people is to connect with God, yourself, your loved ones, and your business, whether that's your corporate 9-to-5 or you're on the entrepreneurial journey, just like most of us on this call, but to connect with God, yourself, your loved ones, and your business. This is not the time to fold. This is the time to be still. Really be still and connect with God, because He's going to order those steps, right? He's going to show you where you need to go. We keep talking about pivoting, a couple of us on here. So this is our new norm, which means we are going to have to learn to pivot. This is not the end. This is not the time to shrink. As a matter of fact, this is the time to rise, Dr. Larry.
Amen.
I don't know about you, but this is the time to rise. And I'm going after everything that God has said is for me. And so some of you have more time on your hands right now. You know, some may be busy with the kids, but some of you have more time on your hands. What are you going to do with that time? That's the question that I want to ask you. You can sit on that couch, pull that blanket over your head and cry that things aren't working out, or you can throw that blanket off of your head, get on that computer, pick up that phone, start making some connections, write that book you've always wanted to write, you know, network, do the things that you've always wanted to do, rise, right? And then be grateful. Look at the blessings that are in your life, your health. Some people are losing loved ones. Are you healthy? Your family, you are getting to spend more time with your family than you probably ever have in your life. Enjoy this time, okay? So connect with God, yourself, get to know yourself even more, do some self-reflection, journal. That's how I wrote my book, and I have to plug my book, You Go Girl, 25 Ways to Step into Your Greatness.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you. Through the power of journaling. So again, don't shrink, don't hide. This is the time to rise. And as far as my as ways to connect me, you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Chandra B. Payne. That's Chandra B. Payne. My website is www.chandrabpayne as well. I try to keep it simple because I have one of those long hyphenated names.
Absolutely. Listen, Chandra, you are absolutely amazing. I love the word networking. Jennifer talked about it. In my first book, I talked about when I first got to Maryland, nobody knew me. I just left Virginia Beach and I was trying to get my name out there. And I would go to 2 to 3 networking events a week. And I mean, I was passing out business cards and kind of hurt my feelings. I put this in the book too. I passed out 500 business cards at this one networking event and saw most of them in the trash and on the floor. So I was picking up those business cards like, how dare they do that? You know what I'm saying? But I kept on going to networking events, and you know, you probably can't go in the DC area and mention my name and not one or you might ask 3 people if they know Dr. Larry White Sr. Somebody will know me based on all the events that I've had and a lot of the networking just to get to know people, because I felt like I needed a seat at the table, right? And then I realized having a seat at the table was not good enough. I need to have a voice at the table, okay? And so I just really appreciate you sharing that, Chandra. Networking is absolutely a must. It's a key. And you mentioned it. I'm one of those people, I had the covers over me. I'm like, boy, this is not going good. People arguing. I'm serious. I got a team of people. I do some consulting with a IT company. Everybody was complaining, throwing each other under the bus. I did exactly what Chandra said. The bad part is I just was sleeping, like, I ain't gonna worry about it. And then got through the cover over, finished the book, finished the second book, the third book, I should say, finished the second book. And so it was great. She's right. You gotta, you know, somebody asked me, I think it was you, Victoria, you know, if you're comfortable, that's a problem. You should always be uncomfortable. Being uncomfortable makes you want to keep on doing something. And so thank you, Chandra, for that, and Trasetta and Stacey. Victoria, it's 11:14. I've never had a show this long. All right, go ahead, take us home with some empowerment and your contact information.
All right, I'm gonna get us through this, Dr. Larry. All right, so to empower, my thing is I teach a self-positive building class, and the first thing I teach my students is what does self mean. It means seeing every level of your life form. So take this time now to see the real you, to understand what self is all about for you. Don't worry about what everybody else thinks you are, but see every level of your own self forming in this season, because we're going to make it and we're going to keep it moving, because we're elevated and not tolerated. And you can reach me on any social media through Elevated Not Tolerated Coaching and Motivational Services. And you can also reach me at victoriamholland.com. And I'm telling you, I am so honored to be with you all today. You have all blessed me greatly. Dr. Larry, keep doing it, man. You my mentor.
You know what? I want to thank you. Victoria, you've been a blessing to my life. And, so many people, come on the show and I take notes. And so Trasetta, we need to talk after the show. Chandra, we need to talk after the show, and maybe not right away, but maybe sometime today, as well as you, Stacey. I have some information from you all to perhaps invite you to our mastermind group, where it's about 15 entrepreneurs around the country supporting each other. We will, when we get past this COVID-19, this pandemic, we coming up guns blazing. We're going to tour the country with our books, workshops. I'm not going to say I'm happy that this has happened. Obviously, that's not the message, because people have lost their lives and things of that nature. But something, they said one of the billionaires predicted a pandemic was going to happen. And I'm thinking, well, if they knew something like this was going to happen, how come the research didn't go there? And I'm not going to go into what I feel like somebody inflicted this for population control, election, just so much that we could think. And then like 9/11, people ask, well, where was God during 9/11? Where's God right now? How did he let this happen? God is always there, everybody. And I like what T.D. Jakes said the other day. They asked T.D. Jakes, do you think God allowed this to happen? Did he see it coming? He says, we don't know that. All right. And I from a clergy like that, we don't want to speculate what we feel God knows and what he can or cannot stop. But we do know this, and this is it. We have hashtag faith. I tell people all the time, if you've given your life to Christ and you have your faith, you should not be worried about one thing, because everything will be fine. And I just want to thank you all again for joining the show. I know a few of our guests had to drop off, but this has been probably, if not the most powerful show that I've had, especially during a time like this. As the pastors say on Sundays, we haven't been able to congregate physically, but we've been streaming our services. But the pastor says this every Sunday: you could have been anywhere else today, but you decided to be here with me today. So I really appreciate that. Amen. So thank you so much, everybody. I'll send you a YouTube link. Victoria, we had some training at 12. I just inboxed you. I'm getting ready to go take a nap. So let's reconvene. let's reconvene. Hey, look, I got that AARP card. I got to go take my old man nap so I can still look smooth. And listen, I do want everybody to chime in tomorrow at 10 a.m. Yeah, chime in tomorrow at 10 a.m. if you can. We are also in Autism Awareness Month, and I have a workshop with Mary Mitchell out of Richmond tomorrow. We've got some folks. We were supposed to be in Atlanta doing this autism workshop last week. So we're going to do it live on Zoom, bringing awareness to those. The autism topic will be the topic for tomorrow for the webinar. So normally I just do Thursdays, but we're going to do a special edition for autism tomorrow at 10 a.m. And lastly, I got to do this because it's about networking. So I'm not sure if y'all drink wine or not, but I'm going to be doing a Zoom happy hour on Saturday from 4 to 6. So we're going to figure that out and have some fun. We're going to talk about our business. We're going to drink some wine. And some of my Christians are like, Larry, you drinking some wine? I was like, yeah. And there's a portion in the Bible for you biblical scholars where Mother Mary, they were having a party, all right? And they ran out of wine. And Jesus, she said, son, could you give me some wine? So Jesus dipped his head. There was some more wine. And so one of my buddies, he's like, yeah, that is the truth, Larry. He says, but did Jesus drink the wine? I said, no, he did not. But Mary and them had a good time, all right? So I just thought I'd leave you. So look for a happy hour on Saturday, 4 to 6. We probably won't be 2 hours, but I just want to give people an opportunity to bring a networking event to Zoom, and we'll have a lot of fun. So look for the information on the happy hour for Saturday, and also tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, we are going to do our autism awareness workshop. Amen. Thank you so much. Y'all have a blessed day, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Thank you so much.
Take some rest, Larry.
I'm going to get some rest. We'll take a nap. All right. Bye-bye.